Time for another road trip. We are bourbon hunting in the land of Weller, or at least that's what it used to be. We're in Ohio along I-75 between Cincinnati and Toledo, and we're going to try to find some Weller and see if Ohio is still the honey hole when it comes to Weller. We're looking for OWA, that Antique 107. They also dropped a couple of exclusive single barrels here in the state of Ohio. Talking Old Forester Single Barrel Select, as well as some Woodford products. Let's see if we can walk away with any of those cool bottles. Speaking of cool bottle, I've got my first barrel pick on the way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like for more information. We'll get to that later on in the video. All right, we're in Dayton, Ohio on this stop, and we are at Belmont Party Supply. The OHLQ website said that they had some Weller in stock. We're gonna see whether or not they do, and if we can find anything cool or anything else that's allocated, ready to go. Let's go check it out. All right, here we are. Looks like the whiskey's in the back. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We just had stuff we had to knock off the Heidelberg boys.
So, Scotch and Irish whiskey. We've got the Green Spot, $79.99. Some of the Canadian. And your Scotch, Macallan 12, Redbreast 12, Johnny Walker Black Label, Red Label, Glenfiddich. All right, and here's the bourbon right behind me. All right, starting off, Rabbit Hole. Minor Case is from Limestone Branch Distillery. You may know that as the place that has the Yellowstone bourbon as well. So these are all going to be state pricing, so these should be the exact same price here as any other OHLQ store in the state of Ohio. So you shouldn't see a drastic change in pricing, but you should see different selections from store to store. Don't sleep on this Middle West Pumpernickel Rye, $43.99. Cincinnati Distilling. I haven't seen 291 in Ohio yet. They're Colorado Distillery.
I was also going to grab the rest of the allocations that can come out.
And of course, New Riff.
No one seemed to want anything else back there, so.
We do have some allocated bourbon as well, which we'll go check out in a second. I will say it's kind of like a scavenger hunt. I haven't seen anything that almost kind of match where it should be. Rabbit Hole was over on the other side of the aisle. Two different 291s on the shelf. Calumet 8-year American Highway Reserve. I believe that is the Brad Paisley bottle. So that's a little bit of a different setup. Horse Soldier, Noble Oak. Basil Hayden Toast. Has anybody had that? Oh, there's a box. Look at, I just wheeled another one out.
Spotted.
Got it. Basil Hayden Toast. Has anybody had that? I haven't heard the best things. It's okay. $49.99. Bullet 10-year. Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. That's actually one of the better prices I've seen too. $67.99. It's the new label. Doesn't say, it doesn't look like a store pick, so it's just the single barrel, but still. $67.99. Jack Bonded. The Barrel Proof. The Jack Line. Jim Beam Black, I believe that's the new 7-year. They're sold out of that. Good old days. This is what I used to drink in college. Boy, has our palate changed. Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, Yellowstone. There's that Limestone Branch Distillery. Nelson's Brother, Smoke Wagon. Don't sleep on this. Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. I mentioned it in multiple other videos, but it's hard to go wrong at a $20 bottle and bond bourbon that doesn't get enough play.
This is Brain Brew.
Brain Brew? Oh, Noble Oak? I didn't realize that. Watershed Distilling Distillery. They are based out of Columbus, Ohio. Good stuff. This one's finished in apple brandy. This is their old fashioned.
Don't sleep on that.
The old fashioned, don't sleep on it. $34.99. So pre-made old fashioned, and then old granddad and Dickel. And let's see what they have is a allocated stuff. So behind the counter, got the Willet Small Batch Rye, Murray Hill Club, Isaac Bowman Port, $42.99. Popping open some Weller and Russell's Reserve, or Woodford Reserve, excuse me. That just, oh, that's store pick?
That's their Buckeye blend.
Oh, the Buckeye blend.
Barrel pick.
Number 12.
Okie barrel pick, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was what released this week, right?
Yep.
And then the Bardstown Amroot.
Yeah, anything side was released this week.
Oh, the Remus Babe Ruth. That's $199.99, I believe.
Yep. Part of the reason it's still here.
Yeah, part of the reason it's still here. Also, it's 6 to 7 year old MGP at 111 proof. And I think the thing is, it's just got the name of Babe Ruth on it, right? And that's really the only thing that makes it special. Calumet 16 year, $159.99, so that's $10 per
So
10.
It's
$10
almost similar
beer.
to the Jack McLaren bottle they have over there. It's just
Yeah.
display, really.
Yeah,
To my knowledge, it's still just a regular Jack Daniels.
yeah. Bardstown Origin Series, $45.99 for the White Label, and then the old Bardstown, and then an Old Elk, and some of the Willet products, Rowan's Creek, Noah's Mill, and Saz, the baby Saz, $30.99. Guess we're gonna go with a Weller today. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
And let's go see what else. Also some bourbon cream over here, hidden on the other side of the store by the Rum Chata, but $22.99 for the Buffalo Trace, but I'd say that the Middle West is just as good, if not better. So you may want to check that out if you haven't tried them already. So there we go. We are 1 for 1 on Weller's at an Ohio liquor store. Let's see if we can make it another one on our next stop. Let's go check it out. All right, our next stop, we are in Troy, Ohio, just north of Dayton, and we are at Needler's Liquor and Spirits. It's an old grocery store. It's actually a historical place because it's one of the areas that had the first UPC scan. As you can see, they got the first UPC barcode retail scan. So a pretty historic spot to stop. It's supposed to be one of the bigger liquor stores in the area, and the rumor has it, it's got a really good selection. So let's go stop in and see what they've got. They're open Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. OHLQ store. Let's go see. You definitely get the old grocery store vibes. Wine and spirits, first thing you see. Crown Royal, special Crown Royal bag, red, white, and blue. And of course the Jack Daniels number 7 box and the glasses, kind of that like gift box and gift set. Well, that's really cool. Crown Royal chair. Haven't seen one of those. I guess there's only 5 of them in the state of Ohio, so they're one of them. And that's cool. You can drop off your bag. For every bag donated is $1 for the troops. Crown Peach, good for cocktails. Well, you know, they're a pretty big Buffalo Trace store. Traveler Whiskey, Wheatley Vodka. For those of you who don't know, Wheatley Vodka, named after Harlan Wheatley, who is the master distiller at Buffalo Trace. I believe he's on the bottle. Yep. So, that comes from Buffalo Trace. If you're a fan of vodka, you might want to check that out. And Traveler Whiskey, I believe it's $39.99. Let's go find the whiskey section. This is a big store. You can tell it's an old grocery store. Display for Bullet. It's kind of a hodgepodge. This is the tequila area, Crown. This is the small sizes. Okay, so pocket. I've never seen these. These are kind of cute. I haven't seen the small rabbit hole bottles, but 200 milliliter, $19.99 with tax. And you got those like pocket whiskeys. All right, let's find this. All right, here are some of the allocated products. So the Kiowa blend from 2XO and Dexon Didman, $99.99. The Masters Collection Woodford Reserve. Anybody have these before? I've been very underwhelmed with the Woodford bottles, at least the Masters Collection bottles. So I don't know if I'd be paying $150 for Woodford. That's a great price. That's what it should be, but I just don't. I'd rather spend my money on something like Bardstown Amroot for the same price. They are always consistent and great. This one's really cool. So this is Whistle Pig, their camp stock wheat whiskey, supposed to be finished in Solo Stove toasted barrels. So it's a collaboration with Solo Stove. That comes in at $72.99. And then there's another one of those Woodford Buckeye blends. It's a special blend of Woodford. This is blend 8. We just saw blend 12 a little bit ago out there in Dayton. Bullet 12-year 95 rye. We did a review on this, and you can check that out on the top right if you're interested in that video. And just like down the street, more of the Kentucky vintage in Pierre, Kentucky, and then the Baby Saz at $30.99. Benchmark single barrel $24.99. Great price, and also don't sleep on the Benchmark line. Canadian single malt, that's interesting, and the Liberator Irish whiskey. So they got the tawny port finish and the double port finish, and then the Dubliner, and Isaac Bowman small batch, and then Isaac Bowman port barrel, and then Patron. So you're good. We're looking at another end cap. Calumet 8, 10, 15, and 16. That's great pricing and all of that. Generally, when you're looking at it, 16 years, you'd say $10 a year, so 160 bucks. So this is all OHLQ pricing. So as I mentioned earlier, these should be the exact same prices as in any other OHLQ store, but they have a massive selection here compared to a lot of these OHLQ stores. James Pepper, 1776. So this is actually, I believe, MGP whiskey. Oh, this is their own distillate. Okay. At some point they were getting it from MGP, but it seems like they have fully transferred over. I know that they've got the single barrels as well. Old Overholt, the 114 proof, and then the A Overholt, $39.99. Traverse City barrel proof. This is a barrel pick, single barrel from OHLQ, and then the Traverse City whiskey American Cherry Edition. These are very good, but this is not the bourbon. This is the actual whiskey. The bourbon is fantastic. So that's a flavored whiskey. You can see because it's 35% alcohol. That means it can't be called a bourbon because it's under 80 proof. And we talked about that as one of the rules in that top right video for the ABCs of bourbon. Okay, moving on. Next hand cap. Green River. Oh, Detrick. I believe this is a bottle out of Dayton. Yeah, Bell of Dayton Distillery. So this is an Ohio distillery, straight rye whiskey, batch number 4. Empty date 4/20, so aged at least 2 years. Penelope 4 grain. No, they are out of the Penelope Rosé cask. Green River line is fantastic, especially that full proof. Probably one of my favorite go-tos right now. And then I've heard amazing things about the blackberry flavored whiskey from Starlight. Good price on that, $23.99. Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. I mentioned that's a great alternative for E.H. Taylor. Smoke Wagon. So they've got the small batch, the uncut unfiltered, the malted rye, and the younger. I haven't had the younger, but I've been pretty happy with the small batch and the uncut unfiltered that I've had. Woodinville. This is a new one to me. A.M. Scott's. So this is a barrel proof. That's a single barrel. Distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, bottled by A.M. Scott Distillery in Troy, Ohio. So this is a local bottle because we're in Troy. 118 proof. Single barrel comes in at 100 proof, so they're probably proofing it down. Barrel aged 4 years. So it would be a bottle and bond bourbon, except for the fact that it was not distilled by A.M. Scott's. And then they've got their bourbon whiskey small batch, $39.99. So a local distillery there. Haven't heard of this. Hainer Hotel in Versailles. Again, Troy Distillery, distilled in Kentucky, so it's a Kentucky bourbon. I'm going to guess it probably came from Bardstown. Bottled by Hainer Distilling and Importing, Inc. in Troy. That's a new one to me. And so is this. Hainer Distilling, again, barrel proof straight rye. So this was distilled in Lawrenceburg. So there's MGP rye right there. I wonder if that is their 95.5 or what that is. And then Hainer's six-year-old rye whiskey. That's really cool. I've not seen that before. Comes in one of those old-timer moonshiner jugs. Oh, really? That's neat. Has anybody tried anything from Hainer? That would be a question I'd ask you guys in the comments. If you have, which of these would be your favorite? Looks like the Old Trojan, probably the one that is the favorite because it's gone, but who knows? Moving on, Horse Soldier, the Premium, the Reserve, and the Signature. And then the Wheat Rye Old Elk and the Wheated 8-year Old Elk. Love what the folks over at Old Elk are doing. And then the Monks Road 5th District, I'm seeing that pop up a lot more. Barrel 35, we did a review on that with Barrels and Barrels, a Bourbon and Baseball podcast. But also, I've got the 36 on the way from Barrel, so keep an eye out for that. Again, I mentioned James E. Pepper, $64.99, a great bottle, underrated. That is a great bottle. I'd say that's a great alternative to Blanton's. This is higher proof than Blanton's, by 13 proof, but still very good. More of the Whistle Pig, busting with the Boys single barrel. 12-year-old old world rye from Whistle Pig, and then Bourbon Pursuit. You got the rye and the bourbon, and then Ruddle's Mill. This is a new one again. A lot of new ones for me today. This comes from Bardstown. It is Ruddle's Mill Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, produced and bottled by the Covered Bridges Whiskey Company. Does not say where they are from, but it was Bardstown, Kentucky, so I wonder if that is where they're located. Probably Bardstown Bourbon Company. Rum, vodka, more bourbon. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This Bottle and Bond James E. Pepper, Old Pepper, that I know is their distillate. Great stuff from them. OKI, O, Ohio, K, Kentucky, I, Indiana. So it's finished with 3 different whiskeys from all states. So distilled in Indiana. So this is an Indiana bourbon. So Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, birthplace to 95% of the world's bourbon supply, which would be Kentucky, followed by OKI Bourbon in Bardstown, Kentucky. But it was distilled in Lawrenceburg, and the rye also in Lawrenceburg. So the reserve, so they've got low rye bourbon, high rye bourbon, 95.5 rye bourbon, 95.5 rye whiskey, rye corn whiskey, and then light whiskey, batch 1 reserve, distilled in Lawrenceburg, and there's the breakdown. $89.99. Wheat Penny, bourbon whiskey finished with black cherry and toasted oak wood. Finished and bottled by Cleveland Whiskey in Cleveland, Ohio. So a lot of Ohio-based distilleries. The Willet 4-year rye, Redwood Empire, Pipe Dream. This is a really good selection. I don't even know if we've made it to the bourbon aisle yet, folks. Bardstown Bottle and Bond, so they are out of the black label. And then Cooper Craft Blend Straight Bourbon. That is a great one to start out as well. All right. There's the Cordials Scotch Whiskey. This is the Scotch aisle. Talisker, Bourbon, Macallan, Glenlivet, Johnny Walker 18, $99.99. The blue label $229.99. Black label Dewar's, Glenfiddich 18, Balvenie. It's a pretty good Scotch collection or selection here. All right, Canadian, there's more on the Crown. All right, here we go. American whiskey. So Maker's 46. They've got the cask strength, 44.99. Regular Old Dickel, Rebel, 100. Old Granddad, Bottled and Bond. Russell single barrel again, 67.99. Yeah, it's hard to go against those single barrels, especially at that price. Bullet, the Jack bonded line. So you've got the bonded rye, very good, and then the triple mash. They've even got the leader of the triple mash, single barrel proof, Gentleman's Jack, if that's your jam. Jim double oak twice barreled, very good value at $19.99. So they're out of the black label in the fifth, but they've got a very good deal of $46.99 on the Jim Beam 7-year. That's a good low budget bottle nowadays. I cracked that open in the live video on the top right of your screen if you want to check that out as well, where we did a 2,500 subscriber. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing more bourbon hunts and more of these videos in the next couple of months, and we also have something special coming up regarding our own barrel pick, so be on the lookout for that. Wild Turkey Rare Breed, $49.99. So as I mentioned, all the prices should be the same, but you can see the selection here. Very good. And as I turn around, there's more. So Rabbit Hole Boxer Grail, Cave Hill, Derringer, more Whistle Pig, the Old Forester line. Very good selection. Oh, you don't get to see these all too often. The Middle West Double Cask Collection. This is their Oloroso wheat whiskey. So it's 5 years, and then it goes from the American White Oak to a Spanish Oloroso sherry. Don't sleep on the folks over at Middle West. Their dark pumpernickel rye, I said it earlier, very, very good. Okay, so here's more of the Hainer. So there's the rye, there's the bourbon, here's the original rye. New Riff, Knob Creek. They don't have any of the 10-year. And then some of the Irish whiskeys, the Teeling. And then as we make our way back this way, excuse me, sir. Rittenhouse Rye. This is also a very good and underrated. So there's the leader, and there's the Bottle and Bond regular $7.50. I'd just be grabbing the leader at that price, $29.99. Jefferson's The Ocean, Old Elk, Michter's Stranahan's. We're hopefully going to be visiting Stranahan's soon. There's the pricing, Chicken Cock, Stranahan's, Woodinville, Bardstown Fusion, Watershed. We talked about that over in Dayton, and then some of the other stuff right there at the bottom. JTS Brown, but that is not the bottled and bond, that is the regular 80 proof. I'd say if you can find the bottled and bond, that's your better bet. And then Cincinnati Distilling and Tullamore Dew. Then we get to gin and brandy, and I think that is it for the whiskey selection. So really cool store. You can see the old school part of it. That is the old grocery store. They've got the box wine, all the other different spirits, and some snacks and stuff like that. So if you are in Troy, Ohio, or if you're traveling along I-75, this would be a great stop if you're a bourbon lover or just a fan of bopping into different liquor stores. Really cool selection. Didn't finish this shelf. I kind of just went past it. So you got Garrison Brothers Small Batch, I.W. Harper Cabernet Cask, Oak and Eden, the Toasted Oak Bourbon Inspire. It's a little gimmicky in my mind. Old Granddad 114. We did talk about the 1776, but I didn't show you that they've got the 18-year extra rare Crown Royal, the Noble Collection, and then those Andy and Schiller bottles, St. Elmo, and then we talked about the Traverse City down below. So again, come check these guys out. Needler's, it's an old grocery store, now turned into a liquor store. Really cool. So very good selection at Needler's. I would definitely stop by, but the purpose of our trip was to see if Ohio was still Weller land, no Weller here today. So we are 1 for 2 so far in our quest to find Weller. They do have a bourbon drop tomorrow that Donna mentioned. Potentially would have some Weller. You can always check out OHLQ's website, ohlq.com, and search for the bourbon that you're looking for. And if it is available, it'll tell you. I wonder if we check the website tonight or tomorrow morning if they're gonna have Weller for your Saturday morning, but we didn't have it today. So we are 1 for 2 so far. And we got a biker. Roll Tide. All right, one more liquor store to go check out. Let's go see it. Before we hit our next liquor store, figured let's grab a snack. Pat's Donut and Cream. We're here in Lima, Ohio. Let's see if this is any good. Yep.
Did you say maple or chocolate?
Maple. Please and thank you.
Really hard. Really good. But I thought it was a lot better.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, I went with a maple covered twist donut dipped in peanuts. That's good. Okay, let's get back on the hunt. Okay, we are at our last stop. We are in Lima, Ohio at Daryl and Daryl's Pizza and Wings. I don't know if it's a pizza and wing store or if it's a liquor store because it looks like it's a drive-up liquor store, which is kind of neat and kind of interesting. I've seen a couple of those here in Ohio. We're gonna see what selection they have, anything good, and if we're gonna find any Weller. The website says they've got some special reserve, but we'll see if that's the case. All right, well, there's the drive up, but here's the brick and mortar. Walk inside, ATM inside too. It's an interesting setup. So it looks like all the wine and those mixers are out in front, but everything else, part of their set collection, is behind the counter. There's the tequila, scotch, we're getting closer. So there's a scotch. We've got Johnny Walker Blue Label, black, the double black, Lafroig, the Dalmore, excuse me, Lagavulin 16, Lagavulin 8, Macallan 18, Redbreast 12. So pretty good Irish and Scotch selection for a smaller store. Crown Royal 18. We just saw that down in Troy. That's $150. So here we are, more bourbon. Redemption bourbon. The Von Payne we've seen a couple times. Different cool looking bottle with the gargoyle on top. Widow Jane, Blade and Bow. Of course, you got the Hennessy, the Crown Royal, Traveler Whiskey. So if you're looking for that, we did do a review on that. You can find that on the top right. The price on that, $39.99. Penelope Architect, very good as well. And then we're looking at Heaven's Door. Calumet's been a big one today, 15 and 16 year. And then the Cooper's Craft, 33. Ooh, look at that. Limit 1. So we've got a Weller Special Reserve and the OWA, which is Antique 107. So we found some Weller, Saz Rye, Rittenhouse Rye. And when you get to the other stuff, we got Knob Creek over there in the corner. Can't really see the pricing, but you know it's OHLQ pricing, so it's whatever it is on their website. I hear him talking, he's able to deliver, so that's kind of cool. Elijah Craig, regular small batch, $32.99. That is a very good go-to for a budget. 4 Roses, and then rum and vodka. So we got some Weller, folks. We found some. So can I also get a Cooper's Craft as well?
Yes, sir.
I haven't been able to find that. So
Also, why am I about to buy
Anything else?
a cookies and cream? Like, why?
you want the cookies and cream? Yeah, you want the cookies and cream?
It's actually really good.
Wait, because there's two. There's Old Smoky, and then there's this.
Oh, the midnight
one that's
moon
like, that's-
shake.
The moon. I was gonna say there's more. Okay,
That one's better.
we're doing it.
Alrighty. And then there's bourbon cream. So here we go. So it turns out that Daryl and Daryl's Pizza and Wings is a liquor store, and they have the Wellers. We got ourselves a Weller Antique 107, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give away that Weller Antique 107 to a lucky Patreon member. So all you have to do is join through the link in the description if you're not a member already. And if you join within the Whiskey Weather Enthusiast tier, the Storm Chaser tier, or the Legends tier, those top 3 tiers, you'll be eligible in the month of August. So join in below, join the Stormfront here on the Whiskey Weather YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this bourbon hunt here through the land of Weller. As we found out, it still is the land of Weller here in Ohio. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share this with your friends, and smash that like button. And don't forget, friends, it is always Whiskey Weather. Cheers, y'all. Okay, next day we came back to Daryl and Daryl's Pizza and Wings because it was so cool. Another bottle of Weller Antique. Just proves the point. Ohio is still where the Wellers are. So, impromptu liquor store stop. We are just about to get on the ferry at Kelly's Island. We're in Marblehead, Ohio, right at the tip, just to the west of Sandusky. We're at Mutach's Market. Stop that may be something to find something at. We'll see. All right, they've got an end capped full of bourbon and different types of liqueur. Calumet 16, we've seen that a lot on the trip. The 15-year Bardstown Collaborative series. This is with Goose Island. Very good pour. Foursquare, one of the better pours of last year. And this is the Discovery series. Discovery 8, $139.95. Cleveland Underground. Bourbon whiskey finish with black cherry wood. Another Cleveland bourbon, $39.99. More Watershed, Yellowstone, 2XO. Fireball. All right, over here, Woodford, Larceny, Seekers. This is a new one I just saw. Toasted oak cask, handcrafted small batch, aged for 4 years. Doesn't really say a whole lot on it. Sandusky, Ohio. There we go. So local.
That was the BLT
Yeah.
brand.
Rectified and bottled by Everwild Spirits, Sandusky, Ohio. Distilled in Lawrenceburg, MGP. What else do they have? All right, more Seekers. This toasted oak cask, that's interesting. The regular bourbon. We've got a wheated bourbon, $54.98. So that's a local one here. We're near Sandusky. Relatively smaller selection here, but you're getting close to the island, so you're probably not expecting a whole lot. All the same state prices. You got Jefferson's, Basil Hayden Toast, Basil Hayden Dark Rye, Michter's Line. Just sold a guy this Green River Wheated. Dennis, big shout out to him. He lives up here, so hopefully he enjoys it. I really love what Green River's putting out there. James Pepper is $17.96. And then Tin Cup just had a question about this. I believe they are out of, they're owned by the same company that owns Stranahan's, but I think this is made in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And then all your regular stuff. So probably your last stop if you're heading out to Kelly's Island to find any bourbon, because you're not going to find any out there unless you're at the bars. One last thing, this Monk's Road keeps popping up. And this looks like their allocated section, which has some Daly's daiquiri mix. Rowan's Creek, I really enjoy this, but I don't think I would pay $53 for it. Noah's Mill, same line. These are all coming from Willett, Murray Hill, and then Russell's 10-year. That price continues to go up. I know this is a state price, but $42.99. I remember buying it for $29.99 just 3 years ago. And if you're a fan of the Guardians, you've got the old highball Cleveland Indians / Guardians glass. It says Indians on the box, so it must be an older one. And then the maker's mark. So here we are, Mutach's Market, just outside of Kelly's Island. Well, as you saw, pretty much your staple bottles, and there's also a little bit of a deli inside, so if you're getting your last minute bottles before heading on to Kelly's Island, probably your last place to stop to get some food if you're not buying it on the island, or maybe to just grab that last bottle that you forgot. But pretty cute little store. Nothing that I'm gonna buy today, but hey, glad we checked it out.